guys, welcome back. My name is Joe. You are watching Blown, and this right here is my 1994 Buick Roadmaster sedan. And 2025 has been a major year for this old car because it got a lot of upgrades. The only thing is I've kind of been hunting down a gremlin on this car for the past maybe 5 years. And I figured out what it is. If you have a Gen 2 LT1, any of the cars, Camaros, Trans Ams, Corvettes, Caprices, Impalas, Roadmasters, then you're definitely going to want to check this out. Actually, we're going to explore a couple different things that can go wrong, that can cause hard starts, no starts, misfires, stuff like that. A bunch of different things that is not the OptiSpark. Starting with the coil and the ICM. Now, the exact problem that I had with my vehicle was every time the vehicle was cold, it had sat for honestly over 6 hours or overnight, it would crank up, no problem. But for the longest time, once it got warm, it would be a really, really hard crank. And then the last couple of weeks, it actually got to where it wouldn't start at all. So the first thing I started thinking about was my coil and my ICM. Now you gotta think, like this ICM, this is actually 32 years old. And what this is this is basically just a transistor. It acts as an electric switch, and it tells your coil when to fire. This whole thing kind of consists of 3 different parts. You have your ICM, and also on there is an aluminum heat sink, and then there are the 2 pieces that actually are the bracket and hold the coil. This coil was a cheap one off of the Jungle website, and I've always been kind of leery of having this on there, but it's worked just fine. So when I took all this apart, there was no heatsink compound on here. Well, because it was 32 years old, you know. Instantly, I figured, you know, the engine was getting hot. This wasn't allowed to dissipate heat as well, and, you know, that's usually when they go. Although, I noticed that when I cranked my vehicle, it wouldn't just keep cranking. It would actually stop, like I had a problem with the battery. This happened to me while I was out and about, and I was right next to a Walmart, and unfortunately, I bought a Never Start battery, thinking that that was what the problem was because it was an old battery, and it wasn't the problem at all. But it was acting like that. It was acting like it was losing voltage, which is kind of one thing to be aware of. When these start to go, you'll usually have something else along with it. You'll have a misfire, you know, it'll run rough, it'll sputter, stuff like that if your ICM is going. Although I have seen people who have changed these and they've had success with a long start after it warming up, changing the ICM and or the coil. So what I did initially was I borrowed a coil and ICM from a friend of mine who has a Camaro build that we're actually going to be showing you here in a little bit. And it's an MSD ignition coil with a Wells brand ICM, which is what I would suggest. I would suggest at least get a standard. If not, try to get a Wells, which is a little bit more expensive, and if you've got the money, actually try to get a GM one. Rock Auto has like a surplus of them right now. So basically, I threw my friend's coil on it, all that, and it didn't go away. I even tried to put some ox guard on here, thinking, you know, it was just because I didn't have any heatsink compound on there to try and fix it, and it never went away. Now, I have also changed pretty much every single sensor on the car. That's just because I wanted to with the rebuild and stuff like that. And, you know, I kind of figured between everything with the new battery, all of that being rebuilt, you know, my long start problem would be gone. I've had this problem for like 5 years. Well, I started thinking about it, and well, about 5 years ago, I put a system into this car, a subwoofer and all that, a stereo system, and there's a spot where actually the positive battery that actually goes to like the fuse and the relay box. Pulled off the little black thing which actually covers, because right there it's actually the positive battery terminal, because the batteries on the GMs are side posts and it's hard to put battery jumper cables on them. When I went to go pull it off, I noticed that it was melted to it, and instantly I knew that I had messed up, and it was something that I kind of started and never completed about 5 years ago. And that is that connection where actually your positive goes in and connects to your fuse box. There's also a couple of wires that kind of piggytail off the back of the bolt that connects all that together. And there's a couple of fusible links off of there, and you know, some other circuits being fed from that power. and everything was loose. It was super hot, and I don't know if it just kind of worked itself loose, but it was all loose, super hot, and everything was corroded. And so now basically what this was doing was, this was when it was not working, when it was getting very hot, not allowing the injectors to work properly, the ignition to work properly. A lot of stuff runs off of this fuse box. So basically all I had to do to fix it, and this is something that you should check out, is, you know, is your fuse box getting proper current? Because anytime you have any type of corrosion or anything that doesn't allow the two contacts to make contact, then it's not going to allow current to flow properly, and it always results in heat and a poor connection. So basically what I did was I took everything apart, cleaned everything really well with a wire brush, and then I put a little bit of this ox guard on it. Now this is also what I was using in the meantime for my heatsink compound for my ICM. I don't know if it's really the best to use for that, but it dissipates heat. It works very well. This makes a much more efficient connection as well as a cooler connection. When a cooler connection, anything that's transferring current from one connection to the other, is always going to be much more efficient when the connection is cool.